Previously on Belleflore. Jan started the park on console knowing full well that he would only be able to finish it on PC. This allowed him to focus on putting in a lot of details in the historical buildings of the entrance. He then went on to build the first area in the park, a kiddie area recently rethemed by the park to Northern France and its industrialization, thanks to trains, and more trains. As the sun was setting on Vapeur-sur-Rail, it was time to start the park's second area, Alpenstadt, and he did so with an innovative, playable mini-golf course built with his friend Broccoli. What do you mean, not a good take? I was speaking proper Dutch. Now he's back, ready to finish the German area with 4 new rides and a dream. Will he be able to finish it within the console limitations? Well, you'll have to watch the video to find out. Hello everyone, I am Jan, your favorite friendly Frenchman. Welcome back to Belleflore, our regional park series set in northern France on historical manor grounds. Today is a very special day because I'm revealing to you the final additions to the park in its console state, and just before I do, let's take a moment for you to like and subscribe. That way you'll see more videos like this one and you'll help me grow the channel in order to be able to afford a PC. The view from the minigolf has changed drastically since the last episode, and we have a proper introduction to the land now when you walk into Alpenstadt. You know how much of a sightline freak I am, and this may be my favorite sightline that I've ever done in one of my parks. It is such a statement to be able to see so much from a single point in a theme park, and this being the plaza that welcomes you into the German area, it just had to tell you that it's not here to mess around. As you can see, I've taken full advantage of the fact that the park is set in a lovely valley and made this area on the hillside. Let's explore it together. First of all, this plaza welcomes you with a tiny ice cream stand called Alpen Ice. Here you can taste 8 different flavors with up to 3 different scoops on a single cone. I don't know about you, but I'd be curious to try the violet flavor because I love violet soda already, and if you've never tried it, I highly recommend it. The stand is obviously kitted out with my Sodamax drink dispenser, a sink for hand and utensil washing purposes, a fridge to store more ice cream, and of course it is linked to the backstage road at the back. Staying on the snow and ice theme, the first ride of the area is a covered Monteleon called Avalanche, with a custom font very much inspired by Blackpool's Avalanche, and yes, I hate to admit that I took inspiration from Blackpool of all places. This is a really classic ride that I used to ride with my dad at the local fun fair as a kid. As for the cover, it's really inspired by the flat rides I saw at Tripsdrill, with this really rustic countryside feel to them that, in my opinion, made them very charming. I mean, everything is charming at Tripsdrill, and that's why you'll see I've taken a lot of inspiration from that place in this episode. Of course, I added my own touch to it by customizing the vehicles with a tiny bar at the front and adding a mountain centerpiece that spins with the ride. I mean, look at it spin! It's so cool! As you exit the ride and make your way towards the bridge, I've got to talk to you about the tiniest elephant in the room. This new coaster. I've made it go along the cliffside so it could be the perfect backdrop for Alpenstadt. In fact, that allowed me to play with the terrain and create this little stream going down the hill, through the mini-golf and into the lake. And yes, I thought about the pump getting the water from the lake and up to the highest point of the hill. And to top it all off, this stream makes the water wheel turn to justify the vehicles of the coaster going up thanks to a mechanism. Surely all of this deserves a like and subscribe, right? I hope it does because I'm out of breath. Anyway, this is Opas Rodelbahn, which roughly means Grandpa's sled track in German. Because you know me, I love Gerstlauer Bobsleds, and this one makes you ride in an actual custom sled car, and I find that to be so cool. The story of this ride is basically that the grandpa of the family is a retired wood carver, and to entertain his 4 grandchildren, he's made 1 sled each for them to go down the hills of Alpenstadt, and you are his grandchildren. Let's join the queue then, because I'm sure you're also getting excited to ride this too. Naturally, we're about to join the classic line for this, but there's also another way to get up there thanks to the elevator. As you know by now, accessibility is extremely important to me. The classic queue goes up and around this blue building, which is where the grandchildren live in our story. We're then stepping outside onto the common terrace that this house shares with Grandpa's, and here we are in the station. It's a very busy woodcarver workshop where Opa's making the sleds. He even has a little frame with a photo of his grandchildren to keep them close to him. We've even got a custom dresser operator panel that Grandpa's carved, but now it's time to board the sled that he's made for us and have fun on Opas Rodelbahn. Isn't that the cutest little coaster you've ever seen? I think what really makes it is that it really is a terrain coaster, so you don't feel like the coaster is as tall as 21 meters, but it is, and that's really the gift that keeps on giving. Of course, a unique setting called for unique safety and maintenance precautions. For instance, to save space and be accessible to the backstage staff, the transfer track is all the way up on the second block section. And speaking of block sections, every single one of them had to be accessible despite the terrain differences, therefore most of them will have the evacuation take place towards the backstages and one of them will bring our guests back to the station. All of that allows 4 bobsleds to make our hillside layout feel alive with kinetic energy at all times. That's why I love Gerstlauer Bobsleds. It's time to head out of the exit that wraps around the station with a really cool interaction with our coaster, and it brings us to our digital photo stand. This is a very innovative technological marvel that guests can use, and it totally doesn't rely on an employee inside its walls to work properly. Just don't tell HR, they don't need to know, okay? As you make your way up the rest of the area, you can turn into a little alleyway which will lead you to the Biergarten, a sort of typical German outdoor bar where, as the name suggests, they serve beer. In this park, however, it's not just here for the beer, it's also Alpenstadt's self-service restaurant where you can get various German specialties on the menu that are all represented inside. We even have beer taps that correspond to the color of the brands on the menu and actual pretzels that I got from Duct Tape Forum, and I've put the share code in the park if you ever need pretzels too. Much like the bistro 2 episodes ago, this restaurant has its own backstage area, but this one's not linked to the backstage roads. Fortunately, they can just get the bins to the nearest backstage access really easily. Another detail that I love is the emergency exit of the bobsled's queue that leads to the terrace of the Biergarten, which I suppose means that the family has direct access to it. How very German. If you go back down to the main path and continue on your way, you'll encounter the takeaway bar of the Biergarten, which sells beer bottles instead of massive pints. And fittingly, the nearest flat ride is called Oktoberfest. This was originally supposed to be a teacups ride, but the plot was way too big to fit here, so I settled for a tilt-a-whirl instead. Still a great way to make the rider feel as drunk as one gets on Oktoberfest. Of course, we're getting towards the end of our little area, where another area will begin once I'm able to afford a PC. But don't leave yet, we still have one more attraction down near the lake. I really like to have slower rides near the lake so you can take in the sights of the park, and this one is no different. Dorfreise is a vintage car ride taking you around the garden in the German countryside. To take you to your car, the queue goes inside a florist's house, she's the one who owns the garden, and then into a mechanic's workshop, and the latter organizes those little sightseeing tours that you're about to embark on. Of course, I've customized the cars to give them a roof because we are in northern France after all. They also have custom license plates and a faded Volkswagen logo because the ride would have once been sponsored by this brand some 10 to 15 years ago. Now it's time for you to have a relaxing ride on Dorfreise to end the video, and make sure to stay until the end for a funny little reference to Trip's Trail. And there we go. This is almost the end of the console season of Belleflore. Make sure to like and subscribe so that you won't miss the final episode and that one day you'll be able to catch the second season, which will be on PC. Oh, you've already subscribed to the channel? Well, how about becoming a channel supporter then? You'll be the first to see the final episode of Belleflore in early access, see progress updates from my many projects, and of course, get your names in my parks and at the end of my videos like the legends you're seeing here. You'll find the link to join them in the description. Naturally, now that the console file is complete, you can finally download this park thanks to this share code. And if you do, I really recommend you visit the park in first person as well, because that's when it feels most real. Thank you so much for watching my video. This has been Yan, your favorite friendly Frenchman, and as always, you've been awesome, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.